Jordan Wolf won't pan out.
Joe Walters is overrated.
Joey Sankey won't make it at the next level.
Fire!
We're looking for insurance.
Let's see who's free.
Is your insurance agent trapped? Probably. When agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a Trusted Choice independent agent is free to shop around to find you a better deal. Free to do what's right for you. Find an agent at trustedchoice.com.
For over 30 years, Cascade has been the most trusted helmet in lacrosse. Introducing the Cascade S. Cascade.
The 2018 FIL World Championships continues live from Netanya, Israel. Craig Bloom and Brad Jones with you, bringing you Scotland against the Philippines. An interesting matchup here. Mid-afternoon, very hot out, no clouds, just the sun beating down on an already dry field.
That's right. The heat's going to play a factor today, especially as the Scotland team is going to want to take up the tempo from what we've seen from them so far.
Sounds like that's part of their game plan today, is to work that tempo up. We saw them last night, had a little bit of trouble, just very, very slow, tried to be methodical, not able to pull out their first win yet.
Yeah, so much of their game plan so far has been to weather the storm of the blue group, right? To minimize the damage, to play their game when they can, and to keep possession. I think this game, they're going to take the leash off a little bit. They're going to try and run. They're going to push this Philippines team.
It's time for a win.
Absolutely. They need one. They want one. Their coach said they've had a hard time getting the energy up today. We'll see on this first face-off what they can do.
This Philippines team, very fun to watch throughout the tournament so far. Really making a run that a lot of people weren't expecting. First ever appearance at an FIL World Championships. They've only lost one game, and they're playing Scotland now in a huge opportunity to prove that they belong here.
And not just that opportunity, but also the opportunity to guarantee themselves a berth in the next World Championship.
Scotland with the first face-off win. Getting down the field is Fergus McMahon. He subs off so Shorty can come back on. Good momentum swing right off the bat. Scotland is a team that likes to move around as we have an extra ball down on the end line. Using the orange balls again today in the daylight.
Here in the daylight, these balls aren't a problem. As soon as the sun starts to get low, we get these lights on, these balls just start to disappear in the shadows on you.
It gets dangerous when you can't see lacrosse ball flying at you.
Absolutely, especially for some of these goalies. When they seem surprised when a ball hits them, you know something's wrong.
Wrapping shot from Uwiki. Out of bounds, closest to it when it goes out on the shot. Philippines takes over. Nice to see the hustle down on the field. Tornabene closest to the ball, able to take it.
Scotland in a 10-man ride. Their goalie out of the cage.
Interesting decision in the first clear attempt.
Well, like we said, they're gonna take the leash off. They're gonna try and come out here and get the Philippines. They're gonna try and make them force tempo. They think they've got the athletes and the lacrosse players to make it.
I like
shot.
the opportunity. Dan Morris from his own restraining box, taking a shot after he saw Dean Stewart out of the cage.
And then a great backup there to keep the possession.
We had another extra ball out on the field. On the other end, Dan Morris picks it up and tosses it off. Angelo Austria now up by midfield. He's going to get things started. Here's McCullough. We'll say his name a lot today. One of those guys that touches the ball on offense almost every possession. Janelle with a right-handed drive gives it to Ventiquatro.
Not surprising, Scotland's out of the zone they've run most of this tournament.
Ball goes out of bounds on a bad pass intended for Angelo Austria. Scotland takes over. Here's Pansiar.
After that hit from Frederick Lee, if we get a goal on the man up for Slovakia.
Matthew Carey loses the ball, has it popped out. About 3 minutes into this game, each team with a possession. Scotland now with their second. What sticks out to you so far?
Well, it's interesting that Scotland's pushing, but they're not pushing as hard as I expected. I expected a little bit more of a run and gun from them. With the athletes, the horses they have, they can get up and down the field with this Philippines team. Especially from a size difference, a lot of these Philippines players are giving up 20, maybe 30 pounds to some of these Scottish players.
Scotland playing their first game in the afternoon sun. They have yet to see the daylight like they are today.
Lucky them. It gets hot out here in the afternoons.
Bad pass rolls out of bounds. Philippines gonna take over. McCullough goes to pick it up. He gets started and will bring it over midfield.
It'll be interesting to see if they can keep that pace for this entire game.
Unable to handle a pass is Angelo Austria. A bit of a fast break opportunity now for Scotland. Ball knocked down. Alex Hurdle picks it back up. He takes it over midfield. He's a guy that likes to shoot if he gets a little bit of space with that long pole.
Absolutely. He's dangerous every time he comes across the midfield line.
A lot of fun to watch. I am a big fan myself of the long pole shot.
Yes.
Specific man, but an area of the field.
There's Colin Uwicki on the far side.
A little bit of a slowdown to maintain possession for Scotland.
He has 17 goals.
Getting what I believe is their second midfield in.
Through the tournament, as he looks
Ryan
to get
Sage
another
now.
assist through the skip pass.
Works back toward the middle.
Saved by the Slovakian
Able to
goaltender.
find Uwicki. But nothing doing there.
Here we are in an invert set.
Yet again,
Brought the short stick behind. Dodge
pressure ride for New Zealand.
will look for some movement up top as he attacks.
Daniel McQuaid from X,
Post defense and goaltender.
wrapping around to the right. Had a man on the crease, but again, an errant pass goes out of bounds. Scotland with another turnover.
Covered up really nicely by the Philippines. Yeah, that backside, that back pipe cut can be so dangerous if you don't see it coming. They did a good job helping in. Next time, Scotland needs to work that ball around the top and look for the outside shot. That wasn't there.
Now, Brad, you're the coach for Team Hungary.
Yes.
At this tournament. You've had a pretty good run in the tournament as well.
Absolutely.
How much of a difference does it make the field conditions as they start to deteriorate away? They've been so tough. The balls have been bouncing so high.
Well, some of these fields are really hard, and every field is a different story. You know, you'll see on this field by the face-off X, there's a divot they've been filling with sand. So you go from spots where the field is almost rock hard, and every once in a while you'll shoot a bounce shot and it will just die where it hits. So this is a field surface that anything could happen, really.
It was fun to watch Dean Stewart in the goal for Scotland last night. Every time he went to move and rotate a stick down, a nice dust cloud came up.
Oh, absolutely. Some of these fields are typically soccer fields, not used to being run around on in just these little spots. You start to see some of the brown areas forming. Dean played a great game yesterday, really made a huge difference.
Big hit right in the middle of the field. Flag flies. Ryan Sage is headed to the penalty box.
I'm not sure about that. That was right in the shoulders, hands pretty much together. Yeah, love to.
Both players coming out of Lake Oswego.
Get another look.
Oh, maybe that got up a little in the head. I can see how he might have called that from there.
In a live shot, I agreed with you. I was thinking, if anything, maybe an illegal body check, not a cross check, but on the replay.
On the replay, I can
agree.
see how that happened, yeah. Shows
So
once
first
again,
man up.
Once again at this tournament, the refs know better than I do.
That never happens when you're down on the field, though, right?
Never.
Here's the first man up opportunity that we've seen today. About 7.5 minutes in, Speciale with the inside feed. Nothing there. Stewart takes the ball away.
Scotland just collapsed on that. Not a lot of movement from the Philippines man up.
Scotland with a huge missed opportunity. Luke Laskowitz was basically standing on the crease.
All by himself there. Better pass, and that's a goal.
5 seconds left on the penalty clock. Scotland is going to get back to full strength, and it's all even play. Good penalty kill for Team Scotland. Philippines unable to capitalize early.
Big save.
Dan Morris, one of those guys that we're going to say has a big save a couple of times today. The way that he moves his body and his stick and will sacrifice every part of his body to make sure that a ball doesn't get by is incredible. Boy, you could hear the stick make contact with the helmet there.
Right on the top of the head. That was an easy one.
Big shot from Justin Rodas. Goes out of bounds. Penalties assessed for the slash. Rodas had an amazing overtime goal. We went to sudden death a couple of days ago, and Rodas was wide open on the crease, had a couple of fakes, and put it in the cage. A lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. So you notice the Philippines pushed it right away when they got the flag down. Unlike in the NCAA or the high school in America, you only get one time around, and if you lose that offensive opportunity, they'll blow the flag dead. Philippines in a 3-3, rotating it.
Speciale up top, gives it to 24. Right on the doorstep, pass no good.
Another errant feed inside from the Philippines.
Scotland working on the ground ball. Philippines able to pick it up, just a quick scoop. Here's Tornabene, good pass to Rodas. Rodas to the middle of the field, hands free, gets a shot off, and he sails it high. Ventiquatro behind the cage now. Up top, Rodas. Ball was blocked before it got to the cage. Under 10 minutes, dead ball. That'll send us to immediate timeout. 0-0 the score. 9:52 on the clock. You're watching the 2018 FIL World Championships.
Jordan Wolf won't pan out.
Joe Walters is overrated.
Joey Sankey won't make it at the next level.
Fire!
We're looking for insurance.
Let's see who's free.
Is your insurance agent trapped? Probably. When agents work for only one company, their options are simply limited. But a Trusted Choice independent agent is free to shop around to find you a better deal. Free to do what's right for you. Find an agent at trustedchoice.com.
For over 30 years, Cascade has been the most trusted helmet in lacrosse. Introducing the Cascade S. Cascade, passion to protect.
Today's forecast, always sunny.
Trusted Choice is the official insurance partner of the 2018 FIL World Championships. Protect what matters most. From business to home, auto and life, Trusted Choice Independence Insurance agents are there for you when disaster strikes. Go to trustedchoice.com to find a local agent today. Opportunity for the Philippines out of the break. Able to recover at midfield and settle back down is Sison. Craig Bloom and Brad Jones with you for the Philippines and Scotland. No score after 10.5 minutes.
So here's Scotland back in their zone.
McCall allowed up top. Here's Sison. Pass to Rodas on the end line. A little too wide for him. Scotland with the clearing opportunity.
You know, the Philippines really don't play that many guys either, so it's going to be interesting to see how this heat and humidity takes a toll on them over the course of this game.
Scotland gets it all the way back down to the other side without much of an issue. Look like they want to run a little bit quicker. Wiki with it. He comes back up top. Sean Darich.
Yeah, after a quick push, they're going to substitute their offensive players on here. Scotland with numbers.
On the doorstep, Dan Morris lets it by. Scotland up on the board first, Ryan Sage.
That's where this field condition comes into effect. He hit that, it almost arced over him. Just a strange bounce he had a hard time seeing.
Another good look at it, and really was just kind of odd. A cool angle.
Yep.
Not one that Dan Morris is typically going to miss, the bounce out in front of the cage.
No, on a flat surface on turf, that's an easy save for him.
Legal to carry the ball in the back of the stick as long as it does pop out after the face-off. International rules a little bit different. There is no timer to get the ball over midfield, get the timer. There is no timer to get the ball in the box, and there is no shot clock, only stall warnings.
That's right. Despite that, you still see some of the younger and American players coming down and forcing it in.
Good idea that time. Matthew Carey looked like he was going to be open. Ball rolls out of bounds, and Philippines has the chance to tie it up. Philippines taking things a little bit slower than we've seen them so far throughout the tournament. Good shot.
And the 10-man ride again.
Just barely too high from Tornabene, and it's good field awareness.
The Scotland coach is contesting that call, saying that his defender was closer to where the ball went out. Referees look like they're going to talk about this one. They're arguing that that's a pass and not a shot.
Referees sort things out. Rodas has the ball. He's bringing it back in on the end line. So Philippines with it, and I definitely thought it was a shot from Tornabene that went out of bounds. Whether one team is closer to it or not, I may not have been able to see, but it's definitely a shot. No contest there, right?
Definitely a shot. Yeah, we can break out the protractors later and see if the see what the angle was on that, but I think that was the right call.
Didn't look like it was a bad angle.
I don't think so either. I think this was the right call.
Bad pass rolls back across midfield. Again, no over and back rule in international play. Ground ball fought for, picked up by the Philippines down in the corner.
Looks like we got to push with possession.
"30-second man-up opportunity for Philippines. 5.5 minutes left in the first quarter. And they would really like to get their first one up on the board here. I don't know that they've gone a quarter in this tournament without scoring.
No, this is a pretty high-powered offense, and I'm surprised it's lasted this long. Scotland.
Another flag flies.
Another flag. Looks like Scotland with too many men. No.
There's a substitution issue. Another man just came back onto the box, so the man-up opportunity, while it still exists, will exist again for a true man-up opportunity.
Yes. They went back to X twice, so the referees blew that opportunity dead, so that they weren't advancing offensively.
Okay, so now we'll have the man-up opportunity. It should be two men up for at least a couple of seconds here for the Philippines if they want to run quickly.
Looks like they're released.
Looks like the Philippines scores as well. J.J. McKenna gets up on the board. Take another look here. Hands free, a good step. Finds the nylon.
But offside low on him.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Great positioning on that shot.
Third face-off battle we've seen. Ball gets flipped out quickly. Scotland almost ran into each other, but able to pick up the ball and run down the field. Pasajewski. Here's Ryan Sage. Sage with the 1 goal for Scotland so far as the ball knocked out. Scotland's able to recover. Pasajewski again on the far side, drives in with the right hand, switches back. Good defense from the Philippines.
Timeout from Scotland.
Sage with the ball, and Scotland turns their first time out. 2:43 left on the clock. Score 1-1. We'll be back in just a moment. It's 2018 FIL World Championships.
Jordan Wolf won't pan out.
Joe Walters is overrated.
Joey Sankey won't make it at the next level.
We're looking for insurance.
Let's see who's free.
Is your insurance?
Today's game is brought to you in part by Quorum Watches. Since 1955, Quorum has adopted creativity and boldness as its guiding principles. Quorum, the official timekeeper of the 2018 FIL World Championships. Learn more about Quorum at www.quorum-watches.com. 1-1 the score, 2:43 left in the quarter. Brad Jones and Craig Bloom with you. After the Scotland penalty, we imagine we'll see them come out, get a good shot on goal off of some sort of drawn-up play. That's exactly what we see, and the ball bounces off of the post.
A little bit of a fade and follow there. Player with the ball dodges down the alley, throws through X, and a cutter pops back to the spot that the Dodger just vacated. They got a great look off that.
Pasajewski has to pass. Ball top left corner, bounced off the pipe. From our angle, looked like it was going right in.
That was right on that corner.
Sean Darridge chases his own pass to the sideline. He wants to run with it now and goes back to X. Scotland unable to control it. Philippines brings it back inbounds. They want to get started quick. Tornabene with the pass.
Scotland out in their 10-man ride. They're rolling right into it.
They definitely know they need to be careful because Tornabene and Dan Morris will both take a shot. If they keep shooting, eventually one of them's going to go in. You can see Darian Stewart on the far side. He is way above the restraining line. That's a very dangerous position for him to be in.
Here it comes.
Tornabene gets a shot off, bounces before the cage, just barely goes over the crossbar. It's a good idea, I think. You might as well take that shot.
Absolutely, especially with the attackman on the end line. I love the 10-man ride, but they need to get there. They need to start getting turnovers off of it, or it might become too dangerous for them.
Christian Nell. He goes to Austria. Austria really New stick, it looks like. Very bright yellow head. Pretty cool from up here.
Yeah, look good, play good.
Austria with the run, pass behind the cage. Vinny Quattro puts it on the goal, and catching it with his knees was Dean Stewart. Good save. He's feeling it.
Yep, Stewart's thinking about that on the back end.
As long as the instinct was correct on the front end, he doesn't mind too much. 3 seconds left, gonna tick off the clock in the first quarter. 1-1. The score as we are 20 minutes into this game. Dean Stewart happy to have an extended break. 7-minute quarter change due to the heat. Stay with us here on the ESPN family of networks. We'll be back to bring you more of the 2018 FIL World Championships.
Joe Walters is overrated.
Epic Lacrosse, the leader in technologically advanced lacrosse equipment, is proud to be the official head, shaft, glove, and arm protection of the 2018 FIL World Championships in Netanya, Israel. Thank you to all the teams that trusted Epic for their gear needs. Epic Lacrosse, live, play, be. 20 minutes in the books, score 1-1, Philippines and Scotland here at the Wingate Institute, field number 4 in Netanya, Israel. It's a scorcher out there today.
It's a hot one. You know, you're gonna see this Philippines bench. They only run about half this bench. It's gonna be a big one for them to gut this out. And Scotland, they're trying to pick up the pace a little bit. This is their first game. This is their first game in this kind of sun. They've been playing night games so far. It'll be interesting to see how they do it too.
I'm happy we have a little bit of shade up here in the booth.
Absolutely. We need a fan up here, maybe some AC.
Think we could lobby for that for the last day of games tomorrow?
Right, just get them to close it in, air condition this. I'd love it.
We'll get on the horn with the tournament.
Tell them Quinn's coming. Maybe that'll get some AC.
Yeah. Here's Scotland with the first opportunity in the second quarter. A little bit more movement than we've seen from them, which is nice as they start to constrict and head toward the cage. Good defense by the Philippines, knocks the ball down. Tornabene picks it up right in front of the cage. Ball falls into the stick of Dan Morris. Max Rosner on the far side has a man running with him. JJ McKenna loses the ball, able to pick it back up. Flag flies.
There it is. Starting to get the feeling maybe this Scotland offense has a bit of a hangover from the last couple days worth of games.
It's exhausting to play over and over and over again.
It absolutely is, and they're playing this game on a relatively short turnaround. We're less than 24 hours from their last game. So in the last 48 hours or so, they've played Iroquois Nationals. They've played 2 tough games.
Really having about 16, 18 hours at a turnaround time, and they're out back here in the heat. It's not a whole lot of recovery time. It's not a whole lot of being inside in the AC time. It's not a whole lot of sleep time.
That's right. It's really not. It's tough to come back and play these games day after day. This tournament is a grind, and we're catching the tail end of it.
Only a day and a half more of the 2018 FIL World Championships. We continue play all the way through tonight. Final game starting at 9:45. And then games pick up again tomorrow morning at 10:30. And start all the way till 9:45 again, as Adrian McCallalad gives the Philippines the lead.
Philippines just in a 1-4-1 there. Work the ball around, find a nice step down from up top.
2-1 now in favor of the Philippines. Happy to have the lead, and they've got to keep up with it. Big face-off opportunity here. Philippines brings the long pole onto the field. Justin Husey, seen him take a few throughout the tournament so far, and the long pole gives quite the advantage at the face-off X.
Well, Scotland's been winning these draws. This is the first one that Philippines come away with. And they need that possession to be successful long-term here against this Scotland team.
So Husey with the face-off win. Janelle brings it down the field for the Philippines. Can hear on our field mics Coach Kirk Ventiquatro of the Philippines very pleased with the play of Chris Janelle. Philippines work from the top. Look like they're actually ready to get started now. Anthony Brown gets a shot off. Ventiquatro brings it back in behind the cage.
Looks like Scotland back in their zone again.
Maybe zone's the way to go. It seems like they slow down the Philippines offense when they're in their zone.
It does. It slowed down the Iroquois offense when they were in the zone. So if it slowed down their offense, it can slow down anyone.
Ray Medaglia with the shot. Goes wide. Ventiquatro on the backup, brings it back in.
But fortunately for the Philippines, they've got some outside shooters. They've got some zone busters on this. See if they recognize and work it around, find some good shots with their hands free.
Brown back to Medaglia. Now behind the cage to Rodas. Rodas has his pass knocked down. Ground ball battle. Decent man ball, whether it was intentional or not. Ventiquatro able to pick it up. Get started again for Team Philippines.
Ventiquatro sets up. He's such a good distributor.
Great feed to Ray Medaglia, wide right. Rodas there to back up. Philippines with 4 or 5 shots now on this possession.
This is the kind of possession that you need in World Championships against the zone. Right? You need to be patient, work it around, find your best opportunities.
Start to wear that defense down too.
That's exactly right. There's no reason to take any shots that you don't have to, make any unforced passes. You can really wear these guys down, find your spot, and let those good shots go.
Ventiquatro behind the cage, back up top to Medaglia. Medaglia finds the net. Three to 1, the score now after this rip from Medaglia. And it looked like Stewart never got a read on it.
No, he got his stick there. He's frustrated with himself that he let that in.
He just missed.
Just missed it. Reacted a little bit late.
Husey back on to take the face-off for the Philippines with the 6-foot pole. Won the last one. We get underway again. Illegal procedure. Philippines ball.
2 Philippines face-off wins in a row. Their first 2 of the game.
Here's McCallalad. Good communication from Scotland's bench.
There we go. Scotland pressed out adjacent. They're going to let this long pole go to work.
They've switched back to a man, it looks like.
They have. They're back in their man.
24 with the wraparound, backhanded shot, sails wide, flag down on the field. Minute man up opportunity for the Philippines. A 1-minute slash on Matt McGrady, 28 years old, playing for Team Scotland. Not the good time for the penalty. Not that there is ever a good time, but not a good time for a penalty for Team Scotland.
No, that's not a great time to throw that check either, especially not against 24. He's such a smart player.
He almost forces you to slash.
He does. He's baiting that check there. He knows it's coming. Not the best shot either. It's not what you want is 2 passes and a turnover on your EMO.
Shot from McKenna is saved by Stewart. Scotland with their clear attempt, wasting a little bit of time, make sure the penalty gets back released. But they get a shorthanded clear all the way down the field, no problem. First possession we've seen by Team Scotland here in quite a few minutes, actually. 4 or 5 minutes since we've seen ball played on this side of the field.
It is. Look for them to be patient, kill this penalty, and then get into their offense.
Vickers on the close side up top. 3 seconds left on the penalty. They get the kill. Back to all even. Pasajewski now. Good feed down low. Great shot.
Right off his elbow.
Jimmy McBride on the attempt. Daniel McQuaid brings it back in. Pasajewski again, back up top. Now behind the cage. Iwicki with the wraparound. Good take.
I'd like to see a little bit more off-ball movement from the Scotland team. The Philippines are almost pre-sliding some of these up-top dodges. A lot of guys in blue standing around and watching.
It's a good scout report.
Now they've got one of the attackmen shut off at X with a short stick. Philippines content to play 5-on-5. Look at the early call. They have officially pre-slid here.
Hard ripping shot from Cole Pasajewski. 9:54 on the clock sends us to immediate timeout. Interesting play down on the Scotland offensive end of the field. We'll talk about it a little bit. They keep possession when we get back. This is the 2018 FIL World Championships.
But a trusted choice independent agent is free to shop around to find you a better deal. Free to do what's right for you. Find an agent at trustedchoice.com.
For over 30 years, Cascade has been the most trusted helmet in lacrosse. Introducing the Cascade S. Cascade, passion to protect.
This game brought to you in part by New Balance Lacrosse. Wear what the world's best are wearing, a cleat designed specifically for the game of lacrosse. the all-new Freeze 2.0. Find out more information on the MB Lacrosse Instagram account and shop at newbalance.com/lacrosse. Craig Bloom and Brad Jones with you. Scotland with the ball down in their attacking end of the field, down by 2 goals. What are you expecting to see here?
I think we're going to see a little bit of a more patient Scotland look. Their coach was talking about just finishing the offense. Right? They've had a couple good looks. They've had some looks inside. They just haven't been able to can one of these.
Scotland a little quicker, moving the ball around this time.
Look for them to try and get all the way through this set here.
Pasajewski on the far side, guarded by a shorty. Couple of spins to the inside and a shot. Goes out of bounds. On the backup is Daniel McQuaid.
Again, Philippines slides extremely early, recovers nicely.
Sean Darich takes the ball all the way behind the cage. Daniel McQuaid now with a long pole on him.
Against the Iroquois the other night, Scotland moved so well off ball. There were cuts coming from behind, there were through cuts, they were everywhere. They were moving, and they found success that way. Right now, you see a lot of guys standing around, you see one-on-one dodges. The Philippines are too good for that. Philippines, their defense is a well-oiled machine. They're sliding early. They're going to force Scotland to make passes to be successful.
And a good save from Dan Morris after the shot from Ryan Sage. He ended up in the crease. Philippines was closest to the ball when it went out anyways. So Hurdle brings it back in.
10-man ride again.
Get another look at the shot. Dan Morris just able to get his body in the right spot. Justin Rodas. Philippines slow things down a little bit, and tidbit of fun for these coaches. The last time they saw each other was actually at Ryan Powell's wedding. Coach Fenny Quattro for the Philippines was in the wedding. So it's been a while. Said they estimated about 7 to 10 years, somewhere in that zone. That's the last time that they saw each other.
Well, it's a small lacrosse world, isn't it?
Sure, it's nice to catch up.
Absolutely.
Coach Fenny Quattro was the coach at Carthage High School, where all of the Powells attended and played lacrosse. Fenny Quattro, the best friend to all of his players, especially the Powells. He'll be the presenter at Ryan Powell's National Hall of Fame induction.
Oh, that's terrific.
A nice honor for him.
Absolutely.
Said that it meant a lot to him that Ryan had asked if he would be the coach to present it to him.
Yeah, especially when you consider all the great coaches Ryan's had over his career.
And that's what Coach Fenny Quattro wants to leave behind. He said if you ask any of his players what his legacy is, or if you ask him what he wants his legacy to be, it's his relationships. He cares about his team.
Absolutely. It's not so much the wins and losses as it is the impact on those young men's lives.
Scotland with the ball back in bounds, looking toward the middle of the field. Here's Rodas. Rodas loses the ball on a Philippines takeaway.
Just a simple clearing pass there.
Fundamentals, always a focus for every team in this tournament. These two teams today, a little bit of issue with the fundamentals. You want to make sure that you're passing and catching cleanly. Doesn't matter where you're at on the field.
That's right, and some of this may come down to the wear and tear of this tournament. We're each 6-7 games in. Tired guys start to make easy mistakes.
Angelo Austria somehow gets through everybody. Austria with a run back toward the goal, bounces, looked like off the pipe. Chase to the end line, goes back to Scotland.
Benny Quattro not happy with that call.
Referee definitely had the best angle that anybody's going to have on that call, standing there down on the end line.
Yeah, he was right there.
Matthew Carey brings it down for Team Scotland. Couple of quick passes, ball on the ground. Morris, I believe, was able to pop it away. Scotland recovers, Uwicki with it.
That one almost bounced over his shoulder like the last one. Just takes a funny bounce sometimes on this turf.
Uwicki has the ball knocked away. Max Rosner picks it up. He runs toward midfield. No real opportunity for a 10-man ride this time.
They started to roll into it, but they didn't get their personnel on in time.
Philippines with the timeout. We'll take 1-2. 4:17 left on the clock. Philippines still leading Scotland by 2.
Jordan Wolf won't pan out.
Joe Walters is overrated.
Joey Sankey won't make it at the next level.
3-1 the score in our game, 7-7 on the field behind us. Almost halfway through the third quarter, Slovakia and New Zealand tied. Brad, have you seen New Zealand's haka in person?
Not in person. There's a few videos floating around this tournament that I've seen, but I haven't gotten the opportunity to see it in person.
It's awesome.
I believe that.
It's very, very cool to watch. They do the national anthems a couple minutes earlier to make sure that there's time for them to do the haka.
Oh, that's great.
And if you've never seen it before and you don't understand what's happening, it starts up and you go, what's going on?
Well, and the fact that they include the lacrosse sticks in their particular haka is really great.
Really neat tradition for Team New Zealand as Scotland gets the ball back down to their end of the field. And all the teams here in the tournament having the chance to go to Jerusalem. Brad, you've taken your trip yet already, correct?
We did. We did it just the day before the tournament.
How was it?
It was incredible. Thank you so much to the Israel Lacrosse for helping us do that and for putting that on for us. It was a once-in-a-lifetime trip for our guys.
Big team building aspect for a lot of the players on the field when they get to go to a place with such a historical significance.
Absolutely, the rich history and tradition that's there, you know, for all religions, really kind of eye-opening to the magnitude of where we are.
Yeah, I got to go myself yesterday. Scotland with an open look on the crease, Dan Morris, and simultaneous flags from the referees. I got to go myself yesterday, and I just couldn't believe that no matter what you believe in, civilization as we know it today started there.
Right.
And just to see it and hear it and, you know, be there.
Right.
Is something totally different.
And there are parts of Jerusalem that you walk through, I'm sure, on your tour too, where you look around and you're like, this could be 5 AD. You know, it could be that time.
So much of that stuff is just thousands of years old. Really cool experience.
Absolutely.
Happy everybody at the tournament able to have the opportunity to take advantage of, you know, how close we are to get over there.
Yes.
Scotland with a man-up opportunity gets a shot off. Morris able to pop it right up. Tornabene chases it down for Team Philippines, and he pushes it out of bounds. Possibly a costly mistake.
The second stop on the doorstep in as many shots by Dan Morris.
Morris, one of those just outstanding goalies, played at Maryland back in the States and did that a lot.
Another one.
Good move right in the middle of the field by Chris Janelle. Janelle gets back down the field. Penalty now released. Realizing they're in trouble on the far side of the field, Philippines calls timeout. 1:16 left on the clock in the half. Take another look at the breakaway. And then the slashing call. So Brad, break down this first half. I don't think this is what we expected to see, a 3-1 game.
No, you know, these teams have both shown that they can score. The Scottish team hung 7 on the Iroquois the other night. The Philippines team has a high-flying offense, really moved the ball well. We've just seen a few more mistakes than we're used to out of both these teams. I think maybe it's the heat, maybe it's the grind of this tournament is starting to get to guys. You know, as you start to get tired, you start to wear down, little mistakes start to creep in. I think that's sort of the tale of this game.
It takes a toll.
Yeah, it really does.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Signature Lacrosse. Signature is a company built by the players for the players, focused on revolutionizing the progression of the game. Follow Signature Lacrosse on Instagram at Signature Lacrosse to stay up to date on product releases like Magic Mesh, the longest lasting, strongest, and #1 performance mesh in the game. Today's game is also brought to you in part by JBC Money, the money transfer specialist for private and corporate clients. Start saving today with bank-beating exchange rates, no fees or commissions on your international money transfer needs, and with the support for 60 different currencies. Find more about them during the championships at jbcmoney.com. So Philippines with 1:16 to work with. A good time out there because you get 2 per half, and if you don't use it, you lose it.
That's right. As hot as it is, there's no reason to take them home with you.
Vendi Quattro gets started on the far side. He gets a drive in and pops back out. I'd imagine we'll see Philippines hold on to the ball for a little while before they take a shot.
Yeah, I think they're probably going to hold for the last shot here if they can. Scotland's out, sliding extremely early, trying to force them into transition.
Bad pass gets all the way back down the field. Philippines able to recover. No whistle blown. And a pretty impressive job by J.J. McKenna, realizing that his man was not going to be able to stop, so he hopped back onto the other side of the line.
Yeah, that was good heads-up play there.
From up here, to me, it looked good, too. It looked like they were still onside.
It was close enough. The refs didn't have a problem with it. And that's one of the things they've done the best at in this tournament is calling offsides, numbers, things like that.
Venti Quattro, one of the best things he does in the tournament is score. Time ticks off in the rest of the half. Venti Quattro makes this a 4-1 lead. Halftime buzzer sounds, 15-minute clock starts up as we get set for second half action. Here at Wingate Field number 4, this is the 2018 FIL World Championships, live on the ESPN family of networks.
Their options are simply limited.
A long halftime comes to an end. 20 minutes set back on the clock here to get the third quarter started. The score 4-1 in favor of the Philippines over Scotland. Craig Bloom, Brad Jones with you. Face-off battle underway. Scotland picked it up 2 or 3 times. Ball gets back. 24 picked it up and tossed it out of bounds after a check. Fast play in the middle of the field to get started.
A little helter-skelter. You know, both teams came off the bench with energy. It's a long half coming up in this hot weather. We'll see if they can maintain it.
40 minutes running time. Last 3 minutes of the fourth quarter is stop time. Scotland with the opportunity, and they slow things down to get started.
A little bit of a dummy dodge for the exchange on the backside. Didn't fool Philippines at all.
Kasajewski goes back down low. Laskiewicz and now Jimmy McBride. McBride with the pass back up top to Ueki. Good check by Tornabene for the Philippines. It's out on Scotland, Philippines ball. Christianel with it for the Philippines, driving down the left side. He pulls out. Not the best first possession for Scotland.
No, they really didn't develop anything. They didn't force any slides. Really not what they wanted for their first time around.
So here's J.J. McKenna now. Philippines will try to have a better first go at it. Look out for the substitution coming off the bench. McKenna has the ball knocked out. Look at the help.
Didn't see him coming, but a great pickup.
Angelo Austria comes out of nowhere, picks up the ball and keeps possession on the Philippines attacking end of the field. Now McCallelad. Medallia off the bench.
Here down the lefty alley.
Philippines rotating into their offense. A little bit of a rollback, no slide drawn there.
McCallelad, hands free, gets a left-handed shot off. Ball was knocked down, it looked like, by John Goodwin, the LSM that's on the field playing defense. 24 gets started again from behind the cage. He's guarded by McGrady.
Divine with the lefty shot. Here's Del Morgana. Divine. There's Clayton on the far side.
Now Rodas behind the cage, a good feed up top. Ball got loose, but was able to be retained by the Philippines. They've had it in their offensive end for about 2 minutes now.
Philippines being very patient.
Patience pays off. Philippines first on the board once again, James Schutt. Four-goal game.
Just caught the Scottish defense ball watching.
And maybe it is the fatigue, maybe it is the heat, maybe it's, you know, all the different factors of being here for 2 weeks, and it's been lacrosse since they got here, but to me, Scotland looks a little sluggish.
They look flat. Yeah, they've had a couple tough games in a row, and like we said, the heat, the short turnaround times, that starts to wear on you. There's also a disappointment factor for Scotland. I think they expected more from themselves, and I think they had a little bit of a hard time getting up for this game.
See Husey, when he went to pick up the ground ball, got a stick full of sand. Scotland with the takeaway. Now a run toward the inside, but an errant pass goes out of bounds. Turnover.
No 10-man ride this time.
24 with it on the far side, driving back toward the middle, has a man on the crease. Who else but James Schutt for number 2 on the day. Schutt with back-to-back goals makes it 6-1. The lone goal scorer for Team Scotland, Ryan Sage. That came all the way back in the first quarter. 5 minutes gone in the third, and the Philippines has increased their lead by 2.
It's been a long scoreless streak from Scotland. You've got to think that is emotionally starting to wear on them.
Back to the crease. Joined by Brenner. Brenner quiet since
Ball's picked up by Husey. Gets back to Hurdle. Hurdle with the clear to McKenna.
And another Philippines possession. We haven't seen much of that Scotland offense in quite a while.
Not what Scotland wants coming out of such a long halftime, and you wonder if that plays a factor too. They had a lot of time that they're not used to.
No, they actually cheered 2-3 times. At one point they had 8 minutes left. I think that's more than they were expecting.
It's tough to adapt to a 15-minute halftime. That's a long time.
It is a long time to sit around, especially out in this heat. Even with some shade and the big fans that they have going, it is still hot and humid out here.
Ball up top for Anthony Brown. Brown with a split dodge up top, almost loses his footing. Comes up to Cison. Cison just running away from trouble right now, wasting a little bit of time. Gives the ball to McKenna. Scotland's defense playing pretty far out.
A little bit of a press on ball. They were shutting adjacents earlier.
Middle of the field, left-handed shot. Pretty hard from Anthony Brown, but Dean Stewart with his first save of the half.
Stick side hip, that's an easy save for Dean Stewart.
Ball knocked out of the stick of Pansier. Able to recover. Scotland with a possession.
They've got Scotland offsides.
Referees need to discuss things. Brad, what'd you count?
It's hard to say. There were so many substitutions going on there that there might have been some confusion on the side of the refs. The chief box official stepped out. I think he's going to sort things out here. There it is.
Turnover back toward the Philippines. Tough call for Team Scotland, and lapse of judgment. The field awareness got to be up there.
Well, it's deflating for your offense. You finally get the ball on your end. You've been playing defense for a long time. All of a sudden, something simple like a bench penalty gets you right back on defense.
McCullough backed up by Cison. Cison had a little bit of trouble, so McCullough able to pick it up. See the press all the way out here. McCullough's got a shorty on him.
Got to think they want to take advantage of that matchup. See a dodge and a rollback.
McCullough now. Trying to roll away. Goes to Rodas, and the Philippines really slowing down their offense a little bit as the ball gets taken away, hits the outside of the net. Dean Stewart.
Dangerous pass.
Opportunity on the doorstep. Dan Morris shuts it down. Luke Lazowicz unable to score because Dan Morris is fired up off of that read.
Probably the fourth or fifth doorstop save he has.
When you're one-on-one with a goalie like that and you do a couple of fakes, 99% of the time the ball's going in the cage.
Most goalies on earth, you dip and dunk like that, it's a guaranteed goal.
Just like that, Justin Rodas scoring.
And that save turns a Scotland goal into a Philippines goal. Steals the opportunity.
Good find by Tornabene, seeing the open man. Just over 10 minutes left to play in the third. 3 goals have been scored by the Philippines. 1 should have been scored by Scotland, but Dan Morris was in the way. The Philippines bench very excited.
When you've got a goalie playing that well, as a shooter, it really makes you start to question everything you do. Is this the shot that I want to take? What if he saves this again? And especially when he's turning your shot into an outlet going the other way and a goal for his team, that's so hard to play against and shoot against.
Look at the defense by the offense. Justin Rodas with the takeaway from Dean Stewart.
Benny Quattro wisely slows things down.
Scotland did a good job of getting back on defense, realizing the goalie was in trouble too. McKenna can't handle the pass, rolls across midfield. Hurdle kicks it back across. Scotland picks it up. Here's Pansier on the close side, right in front of us. Now Sean Darich. Darich with a run in. Good pass to the doorstep. Dan Morris. The name of this game. Dan Morris, the reason for a 7-1 lead. Get another look at it. We send it to a media timeout. Just under 10 minutes left to play. Philippines with a fairly comfortable lead of 6. Play resumes a little bit early out of the hydration break. So both teams ready to play, so they start back up again. Scotland has the ball knocked out of the stick. And we'll go back down to the right side of the field. Under 9 minutes to play.
You know, as a coach, that's almost a free timeout. You hate to come out of a timeout. You drew something up. You gave your guys an explanation. You told them what you wanted. There, it was probably to work the ball around, not get into it for maybe once around, twice around, and then get into your offense. 2 passes into it, somebody gets too far into the defense and turns the ball over. That drives you nuts.
Philippines able to stay onside. Good field awareness. A beautiful flip up to the top. Pasajewski has a man cutting to the crease and scoring. Ian Vickers, the 2nd goal today for Team Scotland. And one of the fun parts of Scotland's game, they score and almost a fight song plays from their bagpiper. Finally, the run ends for Team Philippines. Up 7-1, now a 7-2, but a little momentum, a little bit of life possibly from Team Scotland's offense.
With a face-off win, they'll go back to work offensively.
Pansier goes back down, and now ball behind the cage. A little bit of quick passing from Team Scotland.
Pansier's a guy I'd like to see dodge more for Scotland. He's got such great speed and explosiveness. This is a guy who should be able to draw slides if he can get going downhill.
Instead, he passes back to Sean Darich, and Darich goes across the field.
Just a little bit of a 2-man game there from Scotland.
Don't know who the ball's going to or who their shooter is at any point in time when they run this offense that quickly.
No, they've got such a great box influence with both of the McBrides. This fits right into what those guys are used to doing.
Here's Pansier again. Loses his footing, gets tripped up. And apparently, Pansier on the ward.
Slightly questionable ward call there. I think somebody was just under his glove.
We've seen it in the tournament a couple of times. Scotland forcing the turnover. Pasajewski back up top. Scotland wanted the extra one, didn't need it. Vickers, his second in 2 minutes. Bagpipes start up again.
Scotland strikes again in transition. This might be the key to their comeback, is if they can push tempo a little bit more.
Now a much different story. A 4-goal game with 5.5 minutes left in the third quarter.
That's right. You wonder if some of the heat and the short bench that the Philippines uses might be coming back to haunt them. A little bit of trouble clearing twice in a row has given Scotland some open opportunities.
Frustration from Dan Morris in the cage. As Scotland with another face-off win. Daniel McQuaid. Here's Matthew Carey now. Carey with a left-handed drive. He has to pass behind the cage. Here's Vickers. Now back up top. Scotland again running a little quicker, making the defense work. Sean Darich draws the ball out. Guarded by J.J. McKenna. Darich with a run toward the crease. Great flip. Better save. Dan Morris pushes the ball away from Daniel McQuaid.
Dan Morris in close again.
Just over 4 minutes now in the third quarter. Run to the inside, dive play, scoring is called Pasajewski. We've got a 3-goal game on our hands.
Interesting, you see Philippines slide really early from up top. From X, from behind, not sliding at all. There's no help there for him. The dive is alive here in Netanya. It's fun to watch.
Boy, if I've ever seen a dive play, that one's it. He's vertical.
He is straight across. He is horizontal across there.
He's horizontal about 3 feet off the ground. He did everything legally, and that's why the dive play is so exciting and why it's fun to watch in international play.
That's right.
That's one of those rules changes that everybody loves.
Yep, everybody loves the ability to dive. The players, the fans.
It makes the game more exciting.
It absolutely does.
Face-off violation gives Philippines the ball now. Their first offensive possession in quite a few minutes. We said that about Scotland a few times. That's the first time we've said it about the Philippines. And Makalalad has the ball right in the middle of the field as we pass 3 minutes left.
Here's Scotland in a 3-3 zone. Philippines in a 1-4-1. It's 2 guys on the crease, 1 man at X, 1 on each of the wings, and 1 up top.
24, the man at X.
He surveys. He's got such great vision. This is a guy who can cut you apart if you don't get out and touch his hands.
Beautiful pass fakes too. First one fooled a couple of people, but the second one was real. Came up top. So here's Rodas now. Back to 24 and playing a game of catch with Rodas. 24 now up top, 0 angle shot.
Very low angle on that. What that shot does for him, though, is it forces Scotland to respect him around goal line extended. That's going to open up those zones as he starts to roll into them.
24 once again tried to roll back. Good defense from Scotland. Whistle's blown. Looked like a hold. Philippines keeps the ball. 24 gets started again. Regardless of if they score or not, a pretty good offensive possession for the Philippines this time around. Couple of shots and holding the ball for a long time.
Possessing the ball, moving well off ball now. Here we go. Scotland is out of this zone again. Scotland is into... Oh, now here they go. They've zoned up behind this invert look.
McCullough behind the cage, 24. 1:10 left on the clock. Pass up top. Shot is saved. Dean Stewart takes it off the chest.
Dean Stewart goes down to his knees to make that low save.
Now under a minute. Scotland, trouble with the passing and catching again. 45 seconds. Plenty of time to get back down to the other end of the field and get a shot. Tornabene brings it back in on the far side. No rush from the Philippines.
So no 10-man ride this time.
A lot of communication from both benches, yelling out to their teams. McKenna gets it and brings it over midfield with 30 seconds. Clock continues to chip away as Rodas takes it to X with 20. Teams have a play drawn up for this scenario. Cison, Rodas unable to handle the pass. 5 seconds on the clock, gonna tick off. See if we get a whip all the way down to the other end, and we do, but time expires. A fun third quarter. The score now 7-4, still in favor of the Philippines, but it's Team Scotland showing life. 20 minutes left to play. This is the 2018 FIL World Championships. Get an extra competitive edge by upgrading to a Sisu, the official mouthguard of the 2018 FIL World Championships. Sisu offers more protection with less mouthguard, so you can talk, breathe, and drink with no problem. Learn more at sisuguard.com. So a much different game here in the fourth quarter. 7-4 is the score, and Scotland, with the first possession, could make it a two-goal game, and if they do that, Brad Jones, it's very interesting.
Yeah, Scotland is built to come back here. Scotland is a really good face-off guy. They're getting possessions. If they can get through their offense and find some good looks, they can turn this into a game. The only thing stopping them, this Philippines goalie is making save after save. He's got 11, maybe 12 by my count, most of them being close.
Dan Morris apparently closest to the ball when it went out. referees need to get together to discuss it, and I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that call, neither are the refs. The Scotland coaches don't seem thrilled.
Don't seem thrilled, I think, is putting it a little lightly.
That is an understatement. I can't tell if they're mad at their players or mad at the refs, but they are not happy. Scotland again out in their 10-man. Here comes the shot.
Hurdle with the shot, goes just barely over the cage.
There's the turnover that Scotland wanted.
And now the coaches on the Philippines bench not too thrilled about the situation. Big yard sale right in the middle of the field. Rodas able to pick it up to Veni Quattro. Now over to Schutt. Schutt throws
save.
it right into the stick of Dean Stewart. That'll get your team fired up.
Yep, that's such a big save. Momentum maker there for Scotland.
Team Scotland now down on their attacking end of the field. Just about 2 minutes gone in the first. Ball up top to Vickers. Vickers with 1 goal. He had that first one in the first quarter. Good fake, good shot from
Big
Matthew
bounce.
Carey.
And right there, you're starting to see the field conditions, right? We talked about earlier. Parts of this are rock hard. Parts of this are torn up and a little bit soft. It's hard to tell which one's which. He took that overhand bounce that went earlier from a similar spot. This time went way over the cage.
And it's tough because these fields see up to 5 games every day, and it's summertime in Israel. It does not rain here in the summer.
I've only seen 3 clouds the whole time we've been here.
Almost a dive play, but just a jump play. Sean Darich out of Lindenwood, 22 years old, makes it the 2-goal game we just talked about. Great celebration, great happiness, rightfully so for Team Scotland.
Absolutely. This was starting to look a little bit dismal. It's good to see them getting a little bit of energy, playing with a little bit of pep.
Sage and McKenna head-to-head. Not Sage, it was Mulholland. Mulholland won the face-off. Scotland back down to their end of the field. Chance to make this a 1-goal game. And boy, would that be interesting. I can keep using the term interesting. I can switch it with exciting. But those are the 2 terms that I'm going to give you because that's the description.
That's right, and a lot of on line here. With the FIL World Championships going to a smaller format next time, these teams are playing for an automatic bid to the next World Championships. The loser here is going to have to make a play-in out of their respective region, whether it's the Pacific region or the European region. And both of these teams bring a more localized team to their respective area, right? So the Scotland team that shows up to the European Championships in 2020 might look completely different than this. They run the risk of not making it to these World Championships.
Ball out of bounds, awarded to the Philippines. Alex Hurdle brings it back in, and nobody wants to play in a regional play-in game.
You don't want the pressure of having to do that, right? You don't want the pressure of having to come in the top whatever team in Europe because you never know what you're going to get as some of your competition. And especially with Israel competing out of that European division, Germany, whose under-19 team has now graduated to this, and England, who's won almost all of the European championships. You're looking at 3 spots that come right off the table right away.
Good insight from the coach of Hungary. The game behind us has just ended. It was an exciting one. 10-9 the final score, New Zealand over Slovakia. And our game here has the chance to end as a 1-goal game as well. Scotland currently down by 2.
Philippines with an invert. Brought that short stick down behind to X.
Thank you for joining us.
Venti Quattro with a good pass up top for Anthony Brown, and Brown threw it to the 5th story.
Looked like that shot got away from him a little bit. He sent that up to field 3.
Field 3, a solid quarter-mile walk from here.
Absolutely.
Very spread out here on the Wingate Institute campus in Netanya, Israel. A beautiful campus, and Netanya itself, absolutely gorgeous. What blows me away is the architecture. Every building's different.
Oh, it's beautiful and it's modern. It's a great nightlife. It's a really pretty city.
Backhanded shot from McKenna, picked out of the air by Stewart. Scotland taking time. Here's Darridge. Bringing it down the field for Team Scotland. They get set up for the offensive possession. And it could be a game-changing offensive possession depending on how it goes.
That's right. Scotland needs to keep the momentum that they built in the 3rd quarter. Keep it moving here.
About 7 minutes now into the 4th. Ball's knocked down, back toward the Philippines it goes.
Pass off his back foot from a fundamental standpoint as a coach. It's frustrating. You need these guys to make easy passes and run your offense.
No need to do anything fancy.
Absolutely not. 13 minutes left in this game. There's a lot of time. You want to possess this. Philippines understands that in this 10-man ride. Here it comes.
Hurdle again with the shot, gets all the way downfield. Ball is awarded back to Team Scotland. Referee calls it a pass.
Questionable. Looks like it's going to go back to Philippines here, though.
No harm, no foul in that case. Walking back onto the field is Justin Rodas for Team Philippines. Imagine the media timeout is going to come into pretty big effect here, about 2 minutes away. Give these teams an opportunity to sit for 3 minutes and talk about their attack for the rest of the game, especially if we're still at a 2-goal lead.
Absolutely. I know I look forward with 16 guys. I look forward to each one of these media timeouts. It's a free timeout for the coaches.
Here's McCullough. He's got a long pull on him, still tries to get a shot off. Goes out on the end line. 24 there to back up. Ventiquatro back directly behind the cage now where he's going to get started, it looks like. Wrapping around, Ventiquatro had his hands free and just put the ball too high.
A little bit. Looks like the goalie might have gotten a little piece of that.
Here's McCullough behind the cage now. He's guarded by Loke. Up top, James Schutt. Pretty execution.
This is really great movement off ball. You see he comes off this double pick here inside. Even with a little bit of stick in his hands, he still manages to put that top corner.
Schutt with a hat trick now.
Single pick there. Yep. Scotland needs to take sides, talk through those picks.
Back to a 3-goal lead as we approach 10 minutes remaining in the game. Scotland with the face-off win. Mulholland tried to flip it out to himself. Ball rolled out of bounds instead, and we're under 10 minutes. So it sends us to a media timeout. 9:57 left on the clock. The game's exciting. 3-goal lead for the Philippines. This is the 2018 FIL World Championships. Hey fans, Maverick Lacrosse is proud to be the official social responsibility partner of the 2018 FIL World Championships. With best-in-class design and input from the game's top players, Maverick is on a tireless mission to offer innovative, high-performance products. Nothing should get in the way of an athlete playing at their best. See more by following Maverick Lacrosse on Instagram. Maverick Lacrosse, powered by the player. 9:57 left on the clock. Philippines has the ball and a 3-goal lead.
Look for Scotland to press out adjacent here. They're going to let this pole go to work and try and take this ball away.
McCullough
gets a good stick check right away, but doesn't move his feet.
Gets the ball down to 24, and that's not what Team Scotland would like to see. Here's McCullough on the drive around, gets a shot on the ground. Recovery, doorstep, number 4 for number 26. Four goals all in the second half for James Schutt.
Assist of Vinny Quattro there. He moves the ball. He's got such great vision. The quick stick finish on the backside.
Quick stick is fun to watch. You practice that a lot usually, and when you're actually able to execute it in gameplay, you just feel good.
Well, it's so hard for the goalie to get back there, right? He's moving from one side to another. He has to turn, find the ball. By the time he even sees the shooter, the ball's out of the shooter's stick. So hard to react to that.
Scotland with the face-off win. Mulholland wanted to bring it all the way down and get a shot. Would have been tough taking a shot off the back of his stick, but who knows, maybe that's what it would have taken to fool Dan Morris. As the turnover gives the ball back to the Philippines. Austria with it.
Look for the Philippines to be extremely patient on the next few possessions. Clock is on their side here.
24 behind the cage, working with the long pole. Pass got knocked down. Ground ball battle still being fought for.
Philippines doing such a nice job swarming out every ground ball.
Justin Rodas able to pick up the ball, and Philippines able to call timeout. 7:51 on the clock. We step aside as well. This is the 2018 FIL World Championships. Honig's is proud to be the official provider of game day apparel for referees at the 2018 FIL World Championship. Founded in 1984, Honig's is the right call for all referees, umpires, and officials across all sports in the United States and around the world. For more information, visit Honigs.com. Honig's, the right call for over 30 years. Philippines with the ball down in the close corner. A double team, 2 deep holes on 24. He pushes right through, gets up top, gets the ball to James Schutt, and James Schutt makes sure that his 5th goal of the day is scored.
Just too easy for Vinny Quattro. He splits the double team. Nobody gets a body on him. One of these defenders has to stop him from running forward while the other one throws checks. Neither of these defenders do. They both throw stick checks, and he just walks right through that.
This was a 2-goal game a couple of minutes ago. It's back up to 5.
So this was the issue that Scotland got into against the Iroquois. It was close until the last 5 or 6 minutes. They had to come out and press to try and get the win. And as soon as they came out to press, the wheels fell off the bus a little bit. Iroquois got open, and Philippines are finding the same success.
Ball awarded to Team Scotland off of the face-off violation. They get the opportunity. Philippines wants an explanation. I don't really blame them, but Scotland with a good opportunity here. Maybe swing the momentum. There's still plenty of time if they can get another one in the goal here in the next minute or so. Unable to control a pass is not going to help with that. Ball back toward Philippines.
Easy turnover. Yeah, the frustrating thing for Scotland is they haven't made much of an adjustment either offensively. They've been running the same rollback look over and over again that hasn't been successful. Philippines has been sliding to it early, has been recovering nicely. Would have been nice to see Scotland take a couple runs from X, where Philippines hasn't been sliding to.
Ball gets all the way back down to the other end of the field. Justin Rodas with it. He brings it back up top and gives it to Ray Medaglia.
And again, Scotland's going to push out here. They're going to try and press. But this is where they've gotten into trouble in the past. They need to be able to recover in here and help out too.
Name of the game now, waste time for the Philippines.
Absolutely. One wonders how long the refs are going to let him run around before they put the keep it in on.
Here's Medaglia up top. Good pressure from Team Scotland on the defense.
Scotland calling for the get it in. Here it comes.
McKenna, stall warning on.
On cue, the refs find it.
Schutt finds number 6. He's just running across the crease wide open every time.
Just ball watching there from Scotland's defense. See, Four turns his head, looks away. Schutt's all by himself coming across towards the ball.
You don't get the opportunity to score 6 goals in one game too often.
No, it's certainly not in the World Championships.
A fantastic day, and it's not an easy matchup either. He's going against Dean Stewart, the 29-year-old. Stewart has had a fairly decent tournament. He had a good day yesterday.
I mean, this is a Scotland team that held the Iroquois national team to 15 goals.
And Puerto Rico is coming out, getting a good shot and scoring is Cole Pasejewski. His second on the day. So Scotland now with a timeout, 3:33 left on the clock. And we got to think about the possibilities here. We're back to a 5-goal game, just over 3 minutes, but that last 3 minutes of the game is stop time. That makes a big difference.
It does. It makes a huge difference. And it sort of amplifies the Scottish advantage in the face-off. You know, if they are able to continue winning it and actually gain possession and get some offensive runs out of it, they could turn this around still.
Wouldn't be the craziest thing we've seen in this tournament. It would be up there.
It would be up there.
But I don't know if it would be the craziest just yet.
No, not at all.
Okay, so you're a coach for a team at this tournament.
Sure.
You're down in the huddle for Scotland right now. What are you telling your guys?
Well, I'm telling them first that we need possession. Right? We have to turn the winning of the draw into the winning of the ground ball into a possession. Right? Without the ball, without possession, we can't do anything. then I'm telling them that we need to get all the way through our offensive sets. Too often, Scotland's come down, made 1 or 2 passes, thrown the ball away. Maybe they've made a couple looks early that weren't there. They need to be patient with their offense, but they can't stall, right? There's no time to spin the ball around in a circle. They need to get into it, find their looks, and get good shots. I'm also reminding them that this is a good goalie, but despite that, they need to shoot with confidence. Right? They can't be afraid to take shots. Can't be hesitant with this.
You've gotten past them 6 times at this point. You can get past them.
They have, and you can. When they've gotten good shots with their hands free from a mid-range, they've been pretty successful. It's been those inside shots where he's been getting on top of them.
Today's game brought to you in part by Gladiator Lacrosse, equipment designed and perfected by lacrosse players for lacrosse players seeking to take their game to the next level. Visit gladiatorlacrosse.com today. Scotland gets the possession.
So there's the first part of it. They've got possession. Now they've got to get into their offense.
Offense has to run quick, too. They don't have a ton of time to pass around the outside and make sure everybody's comfortable before taking a shot at the cage. 3 minutes left to play in the game. Scotland's got to get going. They do. Klasajewski now. Ooh. Diving and landing on the goal. Looked like his shot may have hit the outside of the goal, rolled out of bounds. Either way, he was in the crease. It's a turnover. Team Philippines ball. No timer to get over midfield or into the restraining box, and if the stall warning gets put on, there's no shot clock.
That's right, there's no timer to get on, and despite the fact that there's a 10-man ride on, Philippines is showing no rush to get the ball upfield. Philippines poles have great handles, and they're very confident with the ball in their stick.
Tornabene at midfield, now crosses over. Gives the ball to J.J. McKenna, and they are offsides. Referee on the far side of the field waves off and says, hold on, they need to count again. I thought they were onside too. That seemed to be another man on the far side of the field.
I thought they were. I counted 3 onside. I'm not sure what the bench official saw there.
Unless there was too many men on the offensive end of the field. And if that's the case, I didn't get the chance to count. But either way, ball goes to Team Scotland.
Ball goes to Scotland with 2 minutes.
Ryan Sage.
Scotland coaches are frustrated that the momentum of that turnover got stopped by the whistle.
Flag flies.
And now the bench is going to get them in trouble.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the bench. Penalty served by the in-home, but the coach that was chirping actually went over and sat down in the penalty box himself. I think that's just being a team player.
That's right. Well, the penalty timer doesn't start till your butt hits the chair. And the coach wanted to get it going right away.
Jimmy McBride sits down, the in-home attackman. And with 1:51 left on the clock, Philippines has the ball. Venti Quattro is going to get it started again. Somebody that's clearly shown that he can hold on to the ball in a pressure situation. Does it again, just running away from trouble so fast. McGrady able to keep up with him.
Good speed there, created separation. Defender had no chance to throw any checks at him. Philippines is going to be content to get wide, rag this.
90 seconds left on the game clock. Matt Speciale back into the game. We haven't seen a lot from him today. He gets pushed and hops around a little bit on one leg.
I'm surprised they have him out there right now. He's, I believe it's a hamstring injury he's nursing right now.
Stall warning on. They've got to keep it in the box. Speciale wants to take a shot anyways. Why not? He's out there.
He's out there. Might as well get his touches.
Under a minute now to play. Things look pretty good for Team Philippines, up by 5.
Keep it in is still on.
Speciale with an injury.
Another assist for Vinny Quattro. We're in stop time here, so despite the point differential, this clock is not going to run.
(12-6). The score with 48 seconds on the clock, and Team Philippines with the timeout. Probably a formality here.
I think so, yeah. 2 of the Philippines players came off limping. I think they just want to circle the wagons, talk through the rest of this game, and try and get out of this without any other injuries.
Want to make sure your personnel is worked out and make sure that nobody's hurting too much anyways.
That's right. When it looks like they might be pulling in some of the guys from the end of the bench who might not ordinarily get in.
And fans, today's game is brought to you in part by Cascade Lacrosse. Cascade is the #1 helmet in lacrosse and is proud to be the official helmet of the 2018 FIL World Championships. See more by following Cascade Lacrosse on Instagram. Cascade Lacrosse, a passion to protect. Today's game also brought to you in part by 3D Lacrosse. With 15 markets across the United States, 3D Lacrosse is America's premier provider of lacrosse training and player development services, including box field hybrid training, select travel teams, team tournaments, recruiting showcases, leagues, and more. Visit 3dlacrosse.com today. 48 seconds to tick away on the game clock, a 6-goal lead for Team Philippines. An interesting game to say the least, as Scotland clawed their way back within 2. And then seemed like just fell apart a bit.
Well, again, they were close. They were playing to win this game, not to stay close. So they had to press out. They needed the ball back. And when they pressed out, they extended. Vinny Quattro found his attackman inside. They were able to can those inside shots.
Face-off X battle has been fun today. Alex Mulholland versus Husey. Mulholland with the win. Scotland would love to chip away at the score, knowing that they're probably out of reach at this time. But with 30 seconds left, they're running pretty quick down on their attacking end. Pansier driving in with the left, 20 seconds, gets a shot. Dan Morris pops it right off of his arm. Even in the final seconds of play, Dan Morris has no problem taking a ball off the body and letting it happen just to save a goal.
That's right. It was so casual there. He bounced it off his shoulder, caught it off the rebound. He's been phenomenal all game.
Goalie instinct for Dan Morris, and he shows that today. So many saves down in goal, and Philippines comes away with a win. Only one loss in the tournament, and they win this one 12-6. Any final thoughts on today's matchup?
No, you know what? It was really great to see the Philippines get out and run. I've wanted to see them all week and really haven't gotten a chance to. And Scotland, you know, this has been a tough tournament for them. Hope to see them maybe get one more game in and get that win this week.
So this one comes to an end. The score 12-6 in favor of the Philippines. Want to tell us about Hungary's lacrosse Instagram?
Yeah, I just want to get a plug in there for us. Follow us on HungarianLacrosse.com or Hungarian Lacrosse on Instagram.
Hungarian Lacrosse on Instagram. I'll be your next follower.
Perfect. I look forward to it.
For Brad Jones, I'm Craig Bloom, our entire production crew. Signing off. That's all we've got for you. Philippines wins this one 12-6.